I got some puzzles, people. Let's do a puzzle haul. Right, this is not normal. I don't usually get this many puzzles in one batch, and also I don't get this many new puzzles. So this is kind of like a once a year thing, because the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship is really like a convention in a sense, because people come together, everyone is puzzlers, everyone is a puzzler from a different corner of the world. So interesting puzzles can be exchanged between people. And yeah, I just at one point, either couldn't say no, or I decided to treat myself and things like that. And I ended up with this many puzzles, and I'm going to divide the entire collection into stacks. So we're going to go through stack by stack. The first one is the competition puzzles, which are all these, and then pretty much puzzles that I have purchased, puzzles that I have swapped, and some miscellaneous stuff that I have just got throughout the event. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to start with the competition puzzles because they are kind of the most self-evident that I have received. Now the thing is, this is not just the puzzles that I did in the competition, obviously. I also got some of them as a gift for participating in the live stream. And yeah, I also just purchased 2 because I found them appealing. So let's take a look at the competition puzzles. First of all, let's go with the preliminary round puzzles, because these are pretty simple and they are published already, so I'm not going to waste too much time on them. We have 2 of the Circle of Colors series that I managed to bring home. These are actually none of the puzzles that I had in my round. The one that I had, I actually exchanged pretty much immediately because I already had it at home. So yes, I got this one instead, which is the Desserts Circle of Colors. I have never done that before, and I thought it would be an interesting challenge to do and to like compare how I would match up with the other competitors later on. So I still have to complete this puzzle at one point to measure my time and see if I would have qualified if I picked this puzzle if I were in a different round. And it's the same with the other circle puzzle. This one I actually got for commentating, and it's just an interesting puzzle. I thought I would keep it because I already did one of this series, which was the Little Sun Change, and this is the Little Sun Feel. Now, when I was speaking on the live stream about it, it was actually very interesting to see how people were tackling this puzzle. Not many people chose this for the preliminary round, mostly because the other puzzle that was the Scandinavian Idol, I think. So not many people chose this one in comparison, because honestly, it's not really a good choice in the sense that it's a tricky puzzle. There's a lot of things in the circle itself that are very well doable, but all of them are pretty big chunks. So I'm going to have to try this one and see. I did see on the live stream as the competition was going that most people got stuck with the black areas because they are quite tricky to do. But yeah, I'm going to have to see for myself once I get around to doing this puzzle. And we move on to my own preliminary round. This is actually not a puzzle that I got at the event. I just thought I would show you. This is the one that I chose for my preliminary round. As I have said on the vlog already that I have posted of Spain, I have done this puzzle already in 2 competitions before, and this was the 3rd time at Worlds. So I know this puzzle by now pretty well, and I pretty much gave away the copy that I received at the competition as soon as I left the competition area. Yeah, I was just not interested. So yes, I have this at home and I just thought I would show you. And we move on to the semifinals. Now for the semifinals, I have 2 of the puzzles. One is the one that I did, and the other one is because I was interested in it. So we're going to go with the first one that I actually did in my semi-final round. This is the Paris Rainbow from the 2026 Ravensburger collection. It was an interesting one to do. I think it's a pretty good challenge for a semi-final, mostly because there's a big gradient or color block area in the entire puzzle, but there's also busy sections, and even in the gradient part, it was pointed out to me later on that I never realized as I was working on the puzzle, but there are a lot of things in the gradient section as well that people who are not that good with radiance can actually reach for. For example, like there's these lines that go across between the colors, and they are different colors compared to the ones from one side to the other. So you can kind of make out which section goes where, which is hugely helpful. And I think that's what actually helped me to make it into the finals on this puzzle, because otherwise I would have been completely lost, to be honest. It's an enjoyable puzzle. I think it's way better than what I first thought of it, and I'm actually growing to like it more and more. I still have to repeat this, so attempt it a second time, because I'm kind of interested how much faster I could go on it once I know the picture. But yes, I'm going to have to make time for that later on. The other semi-final puzzle that I definitely wanted to get, along with many other people at the competition, I think this was the most popular puzzle at the entire competition. It sold out very, very quickly. This is the cute Kawaii Chaos, and it's just adorable, busy stuff. It's full of little things that people can grab onto. Those who like busy puzzles can go fast on this. So there's just so many things that are adorable, and pretty much whoever looks at the image, they are going to point out something different that somebody else might not notice. So for example, for me, the first thing that I noticed is that there's a little puzzle piece on the one side of it, and then there's 2 toilet paper rolls. One of them is happy and the other is sad, which I found adorable. And then there's a little taco in the middle, which is also very, very cute. So it's just a fun puzzle. I think it was also a pretty good choice. There was also some background behind the little things that are scattered all over the image. So the background can actually help a little bit in placing the pieces, but I'm still going to have to take a look if that really is helpful or if it's just pure busyness. So I have not yet attempted this puzzle, but I'm really looking forward to doing it. And moving on. So I was fortunate enough to advance from the semi-final into the final. I made it and I received the puzzle. And I have to be completely honest, if I wasn't in the final, I probably wouldn't have purchased this. It was kind of a disappointment to open the bag and see this, which is called Puzzle Community. The title of the image was leaked on some reseller websites of Ravensburger. So we were pretty sure that Puzzle Community is going to be the individual final. And I had a very different image in mind compared to what came out of the bag when we opened it. It's just so much black. Like, I realize that the picture is about how puzzles bring people together and there's so many different people, but there were actually many, many people pointing out that compared to how the puzzle community in general is very much female dominated, in this picture there's only, I think, 3 women in total. So, no, actually 4. So there's actually 4 women in the image only, compared to how at the usual puzzle competition you get like 90% of women among the participants. But like, I didn't get too hung up on that, but it's just, it feels like the puzzle community is way more colorful and happy compared to the image that we got as the final. And also because I didn't manage to finish this puzzle in the competition, I also kind of have like bad feelings about it at this point. It's just, I think the puzzle community could have been shown a little bit better. I also realized that they tried to do something that is challenging for the super fast people who are likely to be world champions, so that it actually takes a while for them to complete the puzzle as well, but it could have been done a little bit differently just so that it's a more enjoyable image for everyone. I doubt that it's going to be as popular as like the Kawaii Chaos puzzle, which is also fine because it's completely different styles, but it's just very much not my taste. So this puzzle was kind of a disappointment to come out of the box. I really wish we had got a different puzzle, but it is what it is. It is a final puzzle. It has the world's logo on the front and it is a nice memory, so I'm glad that I have it, but I might actually give it away at one point to someone who would like it, just to free up a little bit of space for puzzles that might appeal to me a little bit more. And on we go to the pairs rounds. So here again, I'm not going to waste too much time on the already published puzzles, which are these two. And our pair round was the only one, I think, that had only 2 rectangular puzzles and no circle. But to be honest, once I have spotted the slots in the bag when I opened it, I didn't even show it to my pairs partner, and I just pulled the cats out because like this is not a good choice for pretty much any competition, but definitely not compared to this one. So it's slots, it's a fun image. There's some kind of trend going on with like selfie animals in both Ravensburger puzzles, and I think Schmidt as well does a lot of these. There are some people who love them, there are some people who don't like them, and I'm one of those people. So this puzzle pretty much went back into the bag immediately as I saw it. And then with the cats, it has been used in some championships before, I know that for sure. It's a pretty good pairs puzzle, I would think, because you can kind of like give tasks to each other. You can like divide it pretty well and work on just separate chunks the entire time. And then you end up with cats in the end and you just do all the fur. But it's actually less than what it looks like from the image, I think. So it goes pretty fast, and I'm pretty happy that we got this one and we managed to make a top 10 placement with this puzzle in the preliminary round. So I was very happy that we got to advance to the semi-final, and let's see what puzzle that was. And I actually can't show that to you because I don't have that puzzle. I gave it away to Francie, to my pairs partner, because the image didn't really appeal to me, and she was also telling me that she anyway doesn't really want the 1,000-piece puzzle, so she wants me to have the final puzzle and instead would just rather keep the 500. So our puzzle in the semi-final round, we were in the first semi-final, and we had the Furry Friends puzzle, which was an experience to do. The main thing that I remember doing about that puzzle is pretty much telling my pairs partner the entire time of like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm doing. But we managed in the end. So it is a challenging puzzle, and I think it was a very, very good choice for a semi-final round. The other puzzle that I have is from the other pairs semi-final, which is a Frida Kahlo puzzle. And it might be a familiar image to you if you have been following international competitions, because the big sister of this puzzle was used at the European Championship in the teams final, which is the 1,000-piece version of the same Frida Kahlo style. It is from the Frida Kahlo Corporation, and they have made a couple of these images and they are now on puzzles. So this is the 500-piece version. You have like a photograph of Frida in the middle and like all kinds of flowers and greenery and birds and butterflies all around. It's a super challenging one as well, and I'm really looking forward to trying this one. I haven't tried it yet. I just thought it would be good to have. This one was pretty interesting. I think it looks way easier than what it actually is. The greenery is way more than what it looks like, and it can go all over the place. The flowers are also pretty tricky, and also like everything somehow melts together. And I have been hearing from competitors as well that the face of Frida is actually way more difficult to put together than what it looks like. So I'm going to have to give this a try later on. And we're moving on to the 1,000-piece puzzles. First of all, it's going to be the pairs final, which I think is the other big hit of the competition. So this image was unfortunately leaked, I think, a day before the finals. So most of the competitors probably already knew what it was. So the surprise element of the entire picture was kind of gone. I'm very fond of this picture. It's again, as with last year with the Valladolid puzzle, this is also something that reflects the World Championship at the Dome in Spain. So the Dome itself is recognizable on the top of the image, and just the colorfulness and everything else. It's a very, very appealing puzzle. Way more challenging than what it looks like. On the bottom part, it's very hard to tell what red goes where, which puzzle is which, and the colors somehow blend together very much. And then on the top, this flyer on top and like the stand, they obviously are recognizable and can be put together pretty well. But everything else is pretty hard. So for most of the competitors, when I later on watched the live stream, they got the plants done pretty quickly. Then this corner in the bottom, this speed puzzling sign on top, and then from then on it's just pure chaos. It's somehow not as easily recognizable on pieces as you would expect from the picture. So obviously when the image was leaked, everyone was starting to come up with strategies of how they're going to do it. Our plan was that I would start with the busy parts in the bottom and my pair's partner would be doing the top. But as we started working on the puzzle, at one point she was telling me that like, I can't do the top. This is just too much. It's just too much blue. So we actually had to throw that idea out the window and just had to work on the middle way more and only advance to like the top once we had like way more reference. So I was still working on the bottom section and she was working on the top, but we had to get some of the middle done before that. But it is a very nice puzzle and this is definitely going to be staying in my collection. Moving on. Now, of these ones, there's 4 that I'm just going to run through and I'm going to leave this one for the very last. So first of all, we have the Coastal Cottage. I exchanged this one for one of the Christmas puzzles that we had for our team and I'm very glad that I managed to get this one. It's a pretty well-known image. I think it has been used in a couple of competitions around Europe this year. It's just a very appealing team puzzle as well. The bottom part is very well dividable from everything else. The house, the sky, the water part. So like it can be sorted and divided very, very well between 4 people. And I think it was a very popular choice in its round as well. So I'm just glad that I managed to get this puzzle, especially that after the team competition on that day, we went out to a restaurant with a couple of people and we ended up doing this puzzle in the restaurant. I think about 8 of us and it's just a very nice memory because we were laughing a lot, especially because as we were puzzling, we came up with the rule that everyone can only use their non-dominant hand and only one hand. So it turned into like a game. And that was like a very refreshing little thing to do during the entire competitive puzzling part and doing everything on speed. So this puzzle is probably going to stay a very nice memory for me for many more years. And we're moving on to some Christmas puzzles because it has been kind of a theme this year. And I have a theory why, and that's partly a disappointment on my side because these are Christmas puzzles and pretty much every round had at least 1 or more likely 2 Christmas puzzles in the mix for the team preliminary round. And my assumption from that entire thing, it just gave away that vibe that Ravensburger was using, especially the team competition, to get rid of puzzles that they had in stock that nobody wanted. And these Christmas puzzles are a very good example of that. So there's this Rockefeller Christmas, Rockefeller Center Joy. That was not a very popular choice. Pretty obvious reason why is that it's just a whole lot of ice in the foreground and it's very hard to tell what is what. But then also the buildings on the top are just not super ideal, especially in comparison to the other puzzles that it was competing with in its round. So very, very few people chose it and I can very much understand why. But as like a Christmas puzzle, for someone who likes Christmas puzzles, such as me, it is a nice, just fun puzzle to have. So I'm going to be saving this for actual Christmas time. And then the other one is also a Christmas puzzle and a Christmas Disney puzzle, which is just snow globes with all kinds of Christmas characters. It's the same issue that it's just too busy, and in comparison with all the other puzzles, this was just not a good choice. I don't think many people chose this one. We also didn't go for this with my team, but I am a sucker for Disney Christmas puzzles or Disney puzzles in general. So yeah, I'm glad that I got to keep it, but I'm most probably not going to touch this puzzle before Christmas. And then yet another Disney puzzle, which was actually a more popular choice because as far as I can remember, in the round that it was used in, there was one other super busy puzzle that was kind of difficult in a different way compared to this one. Like, this is more busy. The other one is less busy, but it had a lot of like dark colors that kind of mix in together. And this is just super busy. For those who are experienced with doing team puzzles, they most probably have figured that extremely busy puzzles are very hard to do as a team, mostly because there's so many things all around and you don't have that many pieces to complete for one object. So you keep reaching above each other and being in each other's way. So busy puzzles are pretty challenging as a team, but it is a pretty fun puzzle because it's a whole, Disney character collection. I actually own this puzzle in a 500 piece version, and I like it very much. So I'm pretty glad that I got to keep this one. And we move on to the actually interesting theme puzzle, which is one of the final puzzles. The other one was kept by one of my teammates, which was a glacier that we actually chose to do first, and then we moved on to this one. This is called Ladybug Lane, and it's also one of those super busy puzzles, but it's a slightly bit better sortable. So there's some very distinct features compared to like the Disney puzzle where there's just everything everywhere. But here you at least have like the purple building, the red building, the pink building, you have the road in the middle, and then you have this complete chaos in the bottom. But this one was, I think, very enjoyable to do as a team. It was a challenge. And it's supposed to be because it was the World Championship final. I'm also very glad that it has the World Championship logo on it. So yes, this is going to be a nice memory as well. And we're done with the Ravensburger puzzles. We move on to the next batch of puzzles, which is the puzzles that I have purchased. And we're going to start with the one that I have actually already done. And that is this Janod puzzle. It is a French brand, apparently. At least on the box, it does say that it was made in France. It is just a very, very appealing picture. That's pretty much the reason that I bought it. I didn't know anything about the brand. I just spotted it in the shop in Madrid. You might have spotted this puzzle already in the vlog that I did of the World Championship week. I was very fond of the image. I was pretty disappointed that I couldn't remove the price tag from the bottom here, so it's unfortunately damaged the box a little bit, which in a sense is not a tragedy because I'm not that hung up on how the box looks. As long as the puzzle is fine, I'm okay. But it is slightly disappointing. It's like in bookstores, you know, when like there's these books with these stickers on them right in the middle, and then you just can't remove it for the world. This felt like that. So it was pretty irritating, and I was just trying to get it off and then got some of the paper off. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, for the puzzle itself, it was actually not as good as I was hoping it would be. The image itself is lovely. The image quality is also very, very nice. It's mostly the cut that I was not super happy about. So it's full of false fits, and especially with, you can see what the image is like. There's this huge sky gradient, and a lot of it is just like, if you stare at it long enough, then you start seeing like the rays of light that are moving through. But still, with the false fits, it just gets extremely difficult to put together. So it was just not as relaxing, as nice as I was hoping it would be. It got pretty frustrating at one point, especially with the end, when I obviously did like the violin first and then the water and then moved on to the sky. And especially once I only had like the middle of the sky, it got pretty irritating to having to shape sort yet again and just, keep trying and trying and trying until it was finished. But once the image was finished, it was looking very, very good. It was not a really bad experience, but it could have been better. Moving on to yet another Ravensburger. And this is probably very familiar to those that are into speed puzzling, especially because it's a very popular puzzle. Many, many people have broken personal records on them, me included. I have done this puzzle before, but I didn't have it in my collection. And when I was standing in line to get some of the puzzles, I actually forgot some puzzles. I'm going to have to get them, but I'm going to finish this one first. So as I was standing in line to get some puzzles that are not on this table, I just saw this and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this one. So I snatched it. Getting the puzzles. The reason that I forgot is that I put them on the shelf already. Yes. So the other puzzles that I have purchased are actually the Olay puzzles that you might have seen before. These are all designed by speed puzzlers, and they're just kind of collector's items. I didn't manage to actually get them signed, which many people did. This one is by Luneta, and it is like this cross-stitch rainbow, which I just couldn't resist because I was thinking to myself that it would be good training for anything gradient, especially for someone not as strong in gradients as I am. So I just couldn't leave it there. It is just super colorful. It is not a very difficult image in itself, but it's really just the colors that you're going to have to follow. Then moving on is this one, which is by the Puzzle Bear. And it's a lot of stripes, lots of colors, and like this sofa in the front. So it's like this room scene. It has like a slightly busier part. Most probably this is going to be done pretty quickly once I attempt this as a speed puzzle. And then this is just, I think, pretty good training as well for just like color recognition and stuff. So these are very good speed puzzles, I would say. And then the third one is actually the one that I think most people were standing in line for, and that is the new puzzle by Alejandro, who is 2 times world champion, and last year he already, along with Luneta, who did the cross-stitch rainbow, he released a new puzzle this year as well. So this is Autumn Pieces compared to Summer Pieces, which was last year, and it's just, again, a very fun image. Most probably this is going to be a pretty fast speed puzzle as well. There's just a lot of details, many puzzle Easter eggs hidden all over the picture. For example, there's the little hot air balloon that has like a puzzle piece on top of it, the house with the windows that are shaped like puzzles. So there's all of these little puzzle things hidden all over the picture, and it's just going to be really fun to attempt. And as I was saying, these 3 puzzles all together are just collector's items, I would say. I originally just wanted to buy Alejandro's puzzle as well, but then as I was standing in line for it, I was staring at the other 2 and I was like, you know what, I can just take the other 2 as well. So I ended up with all 3 of them. So now I have the complete collection of Olay puzzles actually. So all of the puzzles that they have released so far are on my shelf. And onwards to some other puzzles that I have purchased. This one was also in my vlog. I bought this in the puzzle shop in Madrid as well. And this is an Art and Fable puzzle that I just thought would most probably be a horrible speed puzzle, but it's just a nice image that appeals to me very much. And also what I really like with the Art and Fable puzzles in general is that on the back there's actually like a little description about the artist, and there's just so much thought put into it, so it was appealing to me very much, and I got this one. Most probably I'm not going to attempt to speed puzzle this, maybe out of curiosity later on, but most probably not, and just try to enjoy it, especially because like, yeah, they are there is a sticker on it that says that it's like a velvet surface, which I haven't tried before, so I'm going to be very excited to try this one. And on to the other one that I got in Madrid, which is a 2000-piece cobble hill. As I was saying in the vlog as well, for the puzzles that I purchased, I wanted something that is not just a Ravensburger, except for the inside out. But I wanted puzzles that are more for the enjoyment and not for the speed, I would say. And this 2000-piece one is definitely a good example for it. Like, it's a random cut puzzle, which I don't do very much of, so it's going to be interesting in that sense as well. And it's just also an interesting image with all 4 seasons and all kinds of things scattered around. I pretty much just want to relax now after the World Championship, which is kind of silly because I'm actually going to be going to a lot of events later on that I will tell you about later. But whenever I'm not preparing for an event, I want to actually enjoy puzzles again, like without any kind of time pressure. And I got this puzzle with that in mind. Moving on to this pile. 4 of these I have bought, and then the 5th one I actually got as just like an extra. We're going to start with this one, which is... I actually have to look it up again. This one I got from Mari, who very generously agreed for me to order these puzzles to her house in the US and bring these over to me for the World Championship, because I have had some kind of hyperfixation on this brand for some weird reason. I have seen Puzzles of Color be represented at an online event recently. I think it was a couple of months ago. It was called Puzzle Jam, and it just came across like very nice and appealing to me. I definitely wanted to try their puzzles, so I'm going to be talking about those. And yeah, Mari just threw this into the mix. Thank you very much. Partly because this actually has 2 missing pieces, so she warned me about that already, but just so that I can try a bit more of the brand as well. So this is called Priceless, as far as I know. And yeah, it's artwork. So it's going to be a very, very enjoyable puzzle. And let's see the ones that I have purchased. So this is actually the one that I think I first saw on in the Puzzles of Color collection, so to speak. I really wanted to get this image because it's really, really colorful. It's all about music. I think it's called Jam Session, and it's 1,000 pieces. I think it's also a random cut puzzle. I think the entire brand is a random cut puzzle, and I'm just really, really looking forward to puzzling this one. I very much like artwork puzzles in general. So if I can like pick my own puzzles, and if I choose puzzles for just enjoyment, I do mostly go for artwork. I think this is a very good example of it. It's just colorful, full of joy, and it's going to be great to puzzle. Next one is also one that I saw on social media, I think. Karen Puzzles showed this puzzle in one of her videos recently, and I was like, ooh, I definitely need this one. And I was actually very lucky that it was on sale. So this is apparently a very difficult one. It does look very, very difficult. I have to look up the name. So this one is called Garden Glory, and it's going to be a challenge. I can see it already from here. It's mostly just blobs of color everywhere. I can kind of see the plants and flowers that are on the image, and it's just going to be, yeah, hopefully a relaxing experience. Moving on to the 2 other ones that I actually pretty much chose because when I was ordering from the website, they were on sale. And I was thinking to myself, if I'm already ordering some, and this is pretty much the only time that I'm going to be ordering these, or not anytime in the near future, I'm just going to get these as well. So this one is called Black Plum, and it's also just an interesting image. I'm going to be looking forward to try this. It was kind of an impulse buy because it was on sale. I'm probably going to give it a go and see how difficult it is. There are a lot of like distinct sections of it, but I don't think this is going to be easy. I could try to speedrun it as well because it's 500 pieces, but I'm going to have to see once I get around to doing this puzzle. And the last one from my Puzzles of Color order is this one. This is called Beauty of the Present, and I would like to say that this is a photograph on like a table full of like board game items and like, kind of like a dinner table setting of like a family gathering. It is kind of a nice story to the image as well. And I just found it very, very nice and wanted to have it. This is also a 500 piece puzzle, so I might actually try to speed puzzle this one. This one might be the most doable speed puzzle of all of them. I'm going to have to see. So I'm pretty excited about these puzzles, especially because on the Puzzles of Color website, there's actually always a description of the image itself, of the artist, and they put like a lot of effort into bringing the artwork closer to those that buy the puzzles, which I always find very, very important. And that's also one of the reasons that I definitely wanted to get some of these puzzles. Another batch is done. And we're moving on to the last batch of the puzzles that I got. This is the miscellaneous pile. So these are some that were gifted, some that I swapped, and actually two that I purchased, but they kind of stand out from all the others. So this is kind of like the everything else. And I'm going to start with the most random one of all of them, which is this one. This is a cork puzzle that I found literally hours after we landed in Madrid. So once we got to Madrid and settled in at the place where we were staying, we obviously went out to like sightsee a bit, and we went out for dinner and we were walking through this park. And at one of these stands, there was like a lady who was selling like all kinds of cork things, starting from like wallets to notebooks and all kinds of stuff. And then I noticed that she actually sold puzzles as well. So this is a cork puzzle, and it just seemed way too interesting to leave it there. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be doing this very soon, partly because it's just so random, and partly because the image looks very, very tedious, but all the others looked more tedious than this one. At first I thought that these were colorful snails, but they're actually not. They are called colorful clouds. And yeah, I just couldn't leave it there. It was just too interesting. So this is one of those really, really random impulse buys that I end up doing sometimes. So at one point, I'm most probably going to try this, or if I don't, I might actually just turn it into jewelry, because like the cork pieces actually look pretty good and they look kind of sturdy as well. So we're going to have to see. It's, yeah, a super random buy that I did hours after I got to Madrid. So that was the start of my Spain journey, actually. Moving on to another impulse buy. This company, La Munda, I would say. It's a Spanish wooden puzzle company. The company had a stand at the Dome inside. So we obviously went over there because also we have seen that they have some magnets that really looked really cool, and I definitely wanted to get a magnet. But I ended up looking at the wooden puzzles as well. And I have already looked at their wooden puzzles last year because they look very, very nicely crafted. I this time decided to just get this one because it might be the last time that I go to Valladolid, and this one would just be a very nice memory of the two World Championships that I have spent there. It's a puzzle of the Millennium Dome, and yeah, I just couldn't leave it there. Their puzzles look extremely well made. I very rarely buy wooden puzzles, mostly because they are a higher end product, and because I go through puzzles very, very quickly, I feel like I don't get to enjoy them enough. So this is going to have to be a puzzle that I actually pull out for like a special occasion and use it for something meaningful. In the sense, I'm just going to puzzle it at one point, like probably with a glass of wine or something like that. Yeah, I very rarely get to do wooden puzzles, and I'm very glad that I actually got one that has like some extra meaning here. Moving on to some that were gifted to me, and these are two Peace Relax puzzles. As you have probably seen, there was a pop-up event that Peace Relax was doing in Valladolid during the World Championship, and it was actually a super fun and enjoyable event, and they had so many things that they were giving away. One of them was actually this little puzzle lollipop that you could get for taking part in their speed puzzling challenge, where you had to do a 100-piece puzzle. For the first completion of it, you actually got one of these. I have actually already done this one. It's just really cute. I think it's a very, very cute idea. I'm going to have to find something that I can attach this to. It's a little lollipop. Like, who doesn't like it? So it was just a nice little gift. And the other one is actually a puzzle journal that they were giving away if you went through the mission that they came up with for the event. So there were all these little tasks that you were doing while you were at the event, and at the end of it you got this as a gift. So this is a little puzzle journal, and I actually already have one of these, so I didn't put this together yet. The other one I actually used during this World Championship to give to people to have it signed as like a little memory book. If you were there and I know you and I didn't get around to having it signed by you, that's because I just didn't manage to go through everyone because there was just so many people. But I'm definitely going to be taking that puzzle notebook with me to other events as well to have it signed by people. The main reason for doing that is actually that like these journals look amazing. It's just also a very, very nice design, because this one is designed by Mari Boiseau, who actually designed the Valladolid puzzle last year. So she is already pretty well known among speed puzzlers in general. And it's just a very, very nice image. And then the thing is, once you put together a puzzle journal like this, you actually have to find something to use it for. And because I don't draw or sketch or watercolor or anything like that, I mostly just use notebooks to take notes in. And I do write a lot, but those notes are not pretty and it feels like I ruined the notebook. So I want to put this together once I actually have like some kind of mission for it, if you know what I mean. I'm going to see. I'm definitely going to try and come up with something because this was a very, very nice thing to get and I'm very happy that I managed to snatch one. And let's see, another one. Let's go with this tiny one, which is actually a very, very nice idea. Emilia, who you might know from the Puzzle with Emilia YouTube channel, was distributing these little, mini puzzles as like little packages. And I got one and I'm very happy with it. It's a Moomin mini puzzle, which is, as far as I know, a Finnish cartoon. If I am not mistaken. I actually don't know the Moomin very well. I know the name and I know the images, but otherwise I'm not very familiar with it. But it's a little mystery puzzle. You didn't know what was on it. And with mine, it was actually a little snowy scene, which is very, very funny because of the heat that we had in the dome. So yes, this was just fun to put together. It was like a nice little thing to do between competitions. I actually did this one day after a competition when we got back to the place where we were staying. It was just a nice idea and thank you very much. Moving on to these ones, which I actually swapped with Sammy from the US along with these three here. These are Boardwalk puzzles and this is also a brand that I don't know very well. I actually wrote Sammy before, like shortly before the event, to ask her if she has any space in her luggage to bring some for swapping, because I really wanted some brands from the US that I'm not super familiar with or that are not readily available in Germany. And Boardwalk was one of them that she mentioned. I actually didn't even really know the brand. And then seeing the images, I just couldn't resist to get two of them. One of them is the Renaissance Fair, which is 500 pieces and is just this super busy image of like all kinds of things happening. I'm actually a very big fan of Renaissance fairs, so this one was very, very nice to snatch from Sammy. And the other is Hollywood Boulevard, which is a 1,000-piece puzzle. I'm just really excited to try this brand. I literally know nothing about it. I'm going to have to see once I try them. And some more of my swap run. This one is White Mountain. This is also one that Sammy just sent me a picture of, and I was like, ooh, I would like this one too. This is Signs of the Past. It's just a really, really cool image. I'm going to be having a great time with it, most probably. So this is a White Mountain, and this is also one of those puzzles that like Semi just sent me like a picture of like all kinds of puzzles that she has, and she was like, I'm ready to swap these if you're interested. And I was definitely interested in this one because it just looks so fun. It's like Signs of the Past, as the name says. There's all kinds of things happening. There's like, hot dogs and like these old US signs that I think are really, really cool. It's going to be a fun puzzle to do. I might actually even try to do this as a speed puzzle just because it just looks so cool. And usually these kinds of images go pretty fast. So I'm going to have to try. And two other puzzles. These are actually the main reason that I wrote Sammy at one point, because I really wanted to try this brand, which is Puzz. I follow them on Instagram and I'm just completely crazy about how they do completely random images on their puzzles. Like all the pictures are just so ridiculously funny to me in some way. Like most people would want to go like for something that is like artsy or photographs or stuff like that. And these are photos, I know that, but it's just, who puts a big bunch of matches on a puzzle or like many small objects as this one is. So I have always wanted to try this brand and I'm really, really excited to try these ones and I'm very thankful for the swap on these. It's also large, and because I think it's only in inches of how big the puzzle is actually going to be, I have absolutely no idea how big these are going to be and if my table is going to be big enough for them. So this is going to be a surprise as well. Onwards to another one, which I got as a gift from Hannah from Finland. And the story of this is that obviously Hannah has been preparing for Worlds very much, and she was always posting about the puzzles that she was completing during her training. And at one point this puzzle just popped up and I sent her a message of like, oh my god, can I buy this off you because I really, really want this one? And she just said, it's yours. And she brought this to me as just giving it to me, and I'm very, very thankful. Now, the reason I wanted this puzzle is because I have a thing for dog puzzles. I might have mentioned before that I have been very active in dog sports for over 15 years. So yeah, dog puzzles just appeal to me. And especially dog puzzles that have anything remotely close to a bearded collie. And even though it's not a bearded collie, it is a bobtail, there is one over here. And the reason I'm looking for bearded collies is because I have one and they are very rare to find on any kind of dog related items or puzzles. So whenever I see one, I kind of want to get one. But I do challenge you to recognize all the breeds on this puzzle, but let me know in the comments how many of these dogs you actually recognize as a breed. Another one done. And so these are actually two puzzles that I can't show you, as you can see. These are puzzles of the Puzzle Guzzle, and I have got these so that I can participate in 2 of the events in October. And I'm just looking forward to find out what these puzzles are going to be. Online competitions are very, very fun. As you probably know, I'm very fond of online competitions and I participate in many of them. And these are just going to be great to see. I'm looking forward to find out what brand these are. I have absolutely no idea. I kind of have an idea of what this might be because I recognize the box, but for this one, I actually don't really have an idea. So I'm going to have to see. I'm just very thankful that I get to participate in the Puzzle Guzzle in October. And we're actually getting to the last puzzle, which is kind of an odd one out because I didn't get this at Worlds, but it relates to Worlds in the sense that the Ulmer Puzzleschmiede, which is a German brand, actually posted on Instagram around the end of Worlds, I think. And they kind of had like this initiative that for the 7 fastest people that take part, they're going to send a puzzle in exchange for a badge from the World Championship. So I'm going to be sending them one of my badges that I was exchanging at the World Championship, because it's actually a thing to exchange badges at the World Championship. People all bring their own, and it just turns into like this whole thing of people running around with badges, and it's especially around the end of the event, there's just badges everywhere. And I ended up taking part. I was one of the fastest 7 people and I got this puzzle, which is an elephant puzzle. And now the thing is, I got this with a purpose because I have been searching for an elephant puzzle for a pretty long time. The main reason for that is that I already have an elephant puzzle that I actually framed. It has been hanging on my wall for a couple of years, I think ever since I live in Germany, and I have been looking into changing it, but I didn't really find a proper elephant that I wanted to put on the wall. And this is a very, very nice photograph that I would be very glad to use. The fun thing about the puzzle is that on their website, this is not only listed as an animal puzzle, but also as an impossible puzzle. So this is most likely going to be a challenge. I can kind of see why, because it's all black and white. It's a photograph. It's also like there's a lot of this blurred background, but also like a lot of the dark. So this might actually take a while, and I am really looking forward to doing this one and actually switching the old elephant puzzle to a new one. So thanks very much for like this really fun little game from the Ulmer Puzzleschmiede. And I'm going to have to bring back all the puzzles. So this has been my puzzle haul from the entire World Championship week. And don't get used to puzzle hauls that are of this size. This is not very typical of me. I do buy a lot of puzzles, but I don't buy this many new. I mostly try and get them secondhand to be a little bit more sustainable, firstly, and also to cut costs a little bit. But as I was saying, the World Championship is kind of a celebration of puzzles in general, and I think everyone gets a little puzzle crazy. Pretty much everyone ends up with at least 10 puzzles that they are bringing back in like crazy ways to fit into their suitcase, flying back from Valladolid. I was very, very fortunate that my friend was driving from Valladolid back to Germany. So she actually managed to get a big chunk of these puzzles back to Germany for me, and I didn't have to fly everything in my suitcase. But yes, I ended up with this many puzzles. I haven't actually counted them yet. I have to count them. Okay, I counted 41 puzzles in total, but this includes like the little ones. And as I was also saying, I didn't buy all of these. So there were some that I got gifted, there were some that I got for speaking on the live stream, and there were a bunch that I swapped. So yes, it's definitely not 41 puzzles that I bought. And with that, the World Championship is really over. I have all these puzzles. I also have to find room for them in my puzzle area, which is not that much actually. So most likely I'm going to have to purge some puzzles from my existing collection so that I can make room for them. So this is all going to be a whole lot of chaos in the apartment, but at least I got to show you all of them before I put them all away. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments which one of these puzzles was your favorite, which one you think I should go with first. If there's any of the brands that I haven't done yet and you have like any opinions about them, let me know. And apart from that, hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see some more of the content coming in the future, and see you in the next video.